The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Richard Martin here for the Eagles Sports Network as the cross-country team prepares for their first race in almost 600 days. And I'm here with Coach Mike Spooner as he leads the team in his first race as the head coach of Carson Newman Cross Country. And Coach Spooner, you've been here for a little bit over a month or two. What have you seen from your team so far in these off-season workouts?
So the team has come a long way. We made a lot of changes to how things have been the past year and a half. Not just in terms of X's and O's, but also incorporating a different style, a different system, just some accountability and structure into the program. And I'm excited for it. I mean, we've had a great rapport and connection with Kelly Brock and the PT department, and then also Johnny Long for the strength and conditioning as well. And so the three of us, along with the guidance of Coach Needs as well. It's been great to see how much that they've overcome since they first kind of came onto campus about 2.5 weeks ago.
And we'll start looking at your teams. You prep for the Tusculum Open this weekend, just up the road in Greenville. It's a 5K for both the men and the women. Women, that's about what they will usually run. Men, that's a lot shorter. Why'd you choose this 5K to start off their first race in almost 2 years?
So it was a great opportunity, one, for us to get a look at a few of the teams in our conference, and so it kind of gets us into the vibe going forward of, hey, these teams are teams that we'll be seeing again. So you kind of always good to start off that way too. Keeps that in the back of your mind as you're at other meets that they may be at in terms of where you should be situationally throughout the competition. The other part too, in terms of the actual distances, is on our guys' side. As we've made a lot of the changes from what they had known versus what the new norm is, it's good for them to get into good racing habits early on, and it's a little easier to do that on the men's side at a shorter distance earlier in the year, especially off of so much time apart. So the 5K is a little more familiar to them from their time either spent in high school or previously, but for our team being so young, most of them high school. And so it's a good chance for them to get kind of their feet wet again back into, racing, even if shorter distance. For the women, it's very similar in that regard in terms of getting out there. The women's side, it's going to be a little better in them understanding, cool, this is going to be very similar to the pace that we'll be running, whether it be, 5K, 6K, relatively it's going to be very same in terms of that pacing, that feels. So both sides had a lot of benefits to this. The main thing is getting out there and getting racing again.
So we'll start looking at your team by team breakdown. We'll start with the women's team, of course, picked 7th again, the South Atlantic Conference. Individually, Rachel Strayer finished 5th in 2019, was the first runner in Carson Newman's recent history since about 2008 to make it to the national championship race. What can you say about her and how she's prepared to get back to cross-country season?
She's a pro's pro. I mean, she's been doing great, not only just for herself, but also her effect on the rest of the girls' squad as well. We have certainly a lot of the female athletes that are looking to do their part to stay with her for obviously their own gain individually, but also as the team. The more that they keep pushing her, the more that she pushes them in return. And I've been very impressed on our women's side, and Rachel has handled that great in terms of not letting that bother her or freak her out. That a lot of training before has been done on her own, but now that I've really challenged some of the other ladies on the team to push her and stay with her, she's handled that very well, and I'm excited for what that does on race day. Based on how it's shown on workouts.
Looking at the men's team now, picked 8th in the preseason poll. Raymond Brookman's a runner to watch. Has not run cross country yet here at Carson Newman, but you've returned 2 solid runners on that men's team, and Hunter Miller and Kirby Logan the third as well. What have you seen from your men's team so far in this offseason?
The men's team has had a lot of growth, I'll say, over the past 2.5 weeks. I mean, the women's side certainly has as well. But the guys' side really succeeds in the ability to feed off of one another. And so when you have a runner like Ray who really attacks the beginning of workouts and therefore attacks the beginning of races, as he and I have talked much about the style of runner I want him to be, it has that trickle effect to everybody else, is that they know to be accountable, to keep things strung along. And a lot of meets that we do better at, I believe, will be put on Ray's shoulders in terms of being the front beacon. When he has good days, I see our team having good days. And Ray and I have had a lot of great conversations, and he loves that role and loves that responsibility. And you can't ask for anything better from an athlete when they believe in the hard stuff or the hard responsibilities. So certainly excited, even though, like I said, limited experience. I think the thing that I've broken down with the team, it's not so much about the distance or what it is or where it's at. It's simply stating that, hey, do you want to race? Great, let's race. And going into that mentality of Ray as someone who is has ran the 800 and the 1500, getting his mindset saying, listen, dude, same thing. It's a race, just like that was. Don't see them as separate. See them as one. And that's been an attitude change that I think has really benefited our guys' crew.
Finally, this is a team that's got a lot of newcomers, a lot of people who haven't run cross country because the season was canceled. Some of them did run track and field last year, of course, for a little bit of those distance races. But with only 3 guys returning that have run cross country and 5 women returning that have run cross country before, who have you seen step up so far in this offseason that you think could make a big difference in this cross country program?
On the women's side, I mean, and really, the easy answer would be all of them, because it's only up from here because we are such a young squad. In regards to the ones that we're looking at, I mean, we have on the women's side, I believe we only have 2 seniors, and then in terms of eligibility, and then on the men's side, we have none. We don't have anybody who's even close to being a senior. So we. So everything, sky's the limit. So I the easy answer would be everybody. But I recently, on the women's side, Katie Smock and Madison Dockery and Imka Van Gogh have been 3 that have really been part of that pushing, Rachel group. And they feed off, all 4 of them feed off great off each other. They have great chemistry, and then even, Clara Nade has been really starting lately to embrace the, shift from track to cross country, that race mentality that we talked about. She had a phenomenal workout yesterday, and I'm excited to see how she continues to grow forward. And the rest of the girls' team has been great in terms of responding to a lot of the changes. On the men's side, I've definitely seen, great stuff from Will Kolb. He's been someone who obviously coming in newer, him and Ray are both, part of the same class coming in. And Will is someone that I think will get better and better as the distances increase. I see him someone who certainly is going to benefit from that. And he, of course, again, picking up different habits, good habits that we've implemented and changed. He has been someone who has been doing a lot of work in the weight room. I think that's a big part of his game that's going to grow and develop, and you will see it as he continues to get stronger and better. So they've worked hard past 2 weeks, and the reward is the opportunity to race once again and take that 600-day count back to 0.
Coach Miller, thank you for your time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Eagles get back on the trail for the first time in almost 2 years at the Tusculum Open this Friday in Greenville.